What if I told you that one of the most powerful tools for attracting wealth and abundance into your life has been sitting in your kitchen cabinet all along, ignored, overlooked, dismissed as nothing more than a simple cooking spice? What if this humble ingredient holds secrets that ancient wisdom keepers have understood for centuries? Secrets that could completely transform your relationship with money. Now let's talk about something that most people walk past every single day without giving it a second thought. Cloves. Yes, those small, dark, aromatic buds that you might use once or twice a year in your holiday cooking. But here's what nobody tells you, and this is where things get really interesting. Cloves carry within them an energetic frequency that has been recognized by prosperity practitioners, spiritual teachers, and manifestation experts across cultures for generations. Has this ever happened to you? You work hard, you do everything right, yet somehow money seems to slip through your fingers as quickly as it arrives? You might be wondering what's missing, what piece of the puzzle you haven't discovered yet. Before we dive in, I need to ask you something important. Hit that like button right now, and drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world, and your engagement helps this message reach more people who need to hear it. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos, because what we're exploring today is just the beginning of a much deeper journey. The answer isn't about working harder or finding some complicated ritual that requires rare ingredients and perfect timing. What you're about to discover might surprise you because it's actually remarkably simple. But here's the catch, and this is crucial. It's not just about having cloves. Thousands of people have cloves in their homes right now and aren't experiencing any shift in their financial reality. Why? Because they don't know the secret that makes all the difference. The real power lies in understanding exactly where to place these cloves, how to activate their energetic potential, and most importantly, what specific intentions to set that align the invisible forces of abundance in your favor. Think about it this way. You could have the most powerful tool in the world, but if you don't know how to use it, it's just an object taking up space. The same is true with cloves and prosperity work. Stay with me here, because what I'm about to share with you goes beyond superstition or wishful thinking. We're talking about working with natural elements that carry specific vibrational frequencies combined with intentional placement in energetically strategic locations within your living space. When these elements come together correctly, something shifts. Opportunities begin appearing where there were none before. Money flows more easily. Obstacles that seemed insurmountable suddenly resolve themselves. And the beautiful part? You probably already have everything you need to begin this transformation today. No waiting for special moon phases, no expensive ingredients, no complicated procedures. Just simple, powerful practices that our ancestors knew, and that modern life has caused us to forget. But before I reveal exactly where you need to place these cloves for maximum effect, we need to address something that's probably been frustrating you for a long time. Something you might not have even realized was the root cause of your financial struggles. Here's a truth that nobody talks about openly enough. You could be the hardest working person in the room, putting in endless hours, sacrificing your time, your energy, your peace of mind, and still watch money evaporate from your life as if there's a leak you can't find. And the devastating part? It has nothing to do with your worthiness. You absolutely deserve abundance. You deserve prosperity. You deserve financial freedom. But deserving it and being energetically aligned to receive it are two entirely different things. This is the hidden truth behind why some people seem to attract money effortlessly while others struggle despite doing everything right. It's not about luck, and it's not about some cosmic favoritism. It's about frequency. It's about tuning your internal energy field to match the vibration of abundance itself. Think of it like a radio. If you're tuned to station 98.5, but the music you want is playing on 101.3, you're never going to hear it no matter how expensive your radio is or how loudly you turn up the volume. The real transformation begins when you understand that we live in an energetic universe where everything operates through correspondence and resonance. This isn't new age fantasy. This wisdom has been understood by teachers and spiritual practitioners throughout history. One of the most profound voices on this subject was Florence Scovel Shinn, a woman who grasped something most people never do, that the invisible laws governing our reality are just as real and consistent as the law of gravity. She taught extensively about the power of the spoken word, about how the intentions we hold and the declarations we make aren't just meaningless sounds floating into the air. They're creative forces that shape our circumstances. If this resonated with you, hit that subscribe button. I share deep dives into prosperity practices, energy work, and manifestation techniques that actually produce results. This is a community of people who understand that wealth is as much about consciousness as it is about action. Shinn understood that we don't live in a world of random coincidences and accidents. We live in a universe of energetic correspondences where like attracts like, where what we consistently vibrate outward determines what flows back to us. And this is where most people unknowingly sabotage themselves. They're holding limiting beliefs about money deep in their subconscious mind, beliefs they inherited from their parents, from their culture, from painful past experiences. These beliefs create an energetic blockage, a barrier that prosperity simply cannot penetrate no matter how desperately they want it. Now, I want to go even deeper into this concept because understanding it will change how you approach not just this clove, ritual, but your entire relationship with abundance. When we talk about placement and activation of cloves, we're really talking about creating physical anchors for new energetic patterns in your environment. We're establishing intentional frequency markers that begin to shift the subtle atmosphere of your space. Write in the comments, "I'm ready to shift my frequency," if this resonates with where you are right now in your journey. What I love most about this approach is how beautifully simple it actually is once you understand the underlying principles. You're not going to need hours of preparation. You won't be waiting for some specific lunar phase or trying to source rare crystals from distant mountain ranges. There's no complicated ceremony that requires perfect memorization or elaborate setup. We're talking about something you can do in literally less than 5 minutes using items that are probably already sitting in your kitchen right now. But here's where people make the critical mistake that renders their efforts completely powerless. They treat it like a mechanical checklist. They go through the motions without understanding that the real magic isn't in the physical objects themselves. The transformation happens through the combination of intention, placement, and activation. You could have the finest organic cloves in the world, but if you're placing them randomly without understanding the energetic architecture of your space, you're essentially trying to plug an appliance into a wall with no electrical outlet behind it. Every home, every living space has what I call an energy portal. This is a specific location where the invisible currents of your life flow in and out with the greatest intensity. It's the threshold between the outer world and your inner sanctuary, the place where opportunities, relationships, financial flows, and yes, even challenges all pass through on their way to becoming part of your reality. For most people, this portal exists at their main entrance, yet they treat it like just another architectural feature, completely unaware of the energetic significance it holds. When you understand this concept, everything changes. Suddenly you realize that by strategically placing activated elements at this gateway, you're essentially installing a filtering system. You're creating an intentional checkpoint that allows prosperity to flood in from every direction while simultaneously blocking the dense, draining energies that would otherwise attach themselves to your field. Think about how many times you've had someone visit your home and afterward felt inexplicably exhausted or noticed your mood had shifted. That's not coincidence. That's energetic transfer happening at your unprotected portal. The revelation here is that you have far more control over what enters your energetic space than you've been led to believe. Your entrance isn't just a door, it's a living boundary, a permeable membrane between your I personal frequency and the collective frequency of everything outside. When you place cloves in this specific location with proper activation, you're essentially programming that boundary to recognize and attract what aligns with your intentions while repelling what doesn't serve your highest good. The impact of this one shift can ripple through every area of your life in ways that seem almost miraculous to those who don't understand what's really happening behind the scenes. Drop, my portal is. Activating now, in the comments, if you're starting to see how powerful this really is. There's another dimension to this work that most people completely overlook, and it might be the most important aspect of all. While everyone focuses on attracting more money and opportunities, they forget about the invisible forces constantly working against their progress. I'm talking about the energy that other people project toward you, often without even realizing they're doing it. The colleague who smiles at your success while secretly wishing they had what you have. The family member who questions every decision you make because your growth makes them uncomfortable about their own stagnation. The friend who seems supportive on the surface, but carries a subtle resentment that you can't quite put your finger on. This stuff is real, and it affects you whether you believe in it or not. Have you ever noticed how after spending time with certain people, you feel drained, depleted, like something was pulled out of you? That's not just emotional exhaustion. That's energetic interference. Words spoken about you behind your back, even thoughts held with strong emotion, create frequencies that can attach to your field and create blockages in your prosperity flow. The beauty of working with cloves in the way I'm describing is that you're not just opening doors to abundance, you're simultaneously installing a protective barrier that filters out these dense projections before they can impact you. But here's the part where most people sabotage themselves completely. And I need you to really hear this, because it's the difference between this working powerfully versus not working at all. You cannot approach these practices like you're following a recipe from a cookbook. This isn't about mechanically placing cloves in locations and expecting the universe to deliver results while you maintain the same fearful, scarcity-based mindset you've always had. That's not how universal laws operate. They respond to vibration, to frequency, to the quality of consciousness you're emanating in the moment of creation. Your internal state while performing any ritual becomes the signature frequency that gets encoded into the practice itself. If you're doing this from a place of desperation, constantly worried that it won't work, questioning whether any of this is real, then guess what you're programming into your energetic environment? More doubt, more desperation, more reasons to question. The universe is a mirror reflecting back the predominant vibration you're offering. This is why two people can do the exact same ritual and get completely different results. One person brings faith, certainty, and an expectant heart. The other brings skepticism, fear, and a mentality of, let's see if this actually works. The ritual isn't what determines the outcome. Your consciousness while performing it determines everything. Type, I choose faith over fear if you understand this. Fundamental truth about how manifestation really works. So let's talk about what's actually happening on an energetic level when you work with cloves, because this is where the ancient wisdom intersects with something you can actually feel and experience. Cloves aren't just another kitchen staple that happens to smell nice. These tiny dried flower buds carry within them a vibrational signature that's remarkably elevated compared to most physical substances. Practitioners who understood energy work centuries ago, long before we had scientific instruments to measure such things, recognized that cloves emit a frequency that naturally aligns with prosperity consciousness. Think of it this way. Everything in the physical universe vibrates at a specific rate. Dense, heavy emotions like fear and anger vibrate slowly at lower frequencies. Love, joy, abundance, these states vibrate at much higher, faster frequencies. Cloves, due to their unique composition and the concentrated life force they contain as preserved flower buds, naturally resonate at that higher range. When you introduce them into your environment with intention, they're essentially broadcasting a signal that says, abundance is welcome here, prosperity is the natural state. It's like tuning your home to a radio station that only plays wealth and opportunity. But beyond just attracting positive flows, cloves function as guardians of your personal energy field in a way that's almost protective in nature. Your auric field, that invisible electromagnetic envelope surrounding your body, is constantly interacting with the fields of everyone you encounter. Most people have no awareness of this exchange happening, which is why you can walk into a room feeling great and leave feeling completely drained without understanding why. Cloves create a subtle but powerful buffer zone around this field, particularly when placed strategically in your living space. This protection becomes especially crucial when you start experiencing growth and success, because that's when you become a target for energies you never had to deal with before. People who seemed supportive suddenly become distant or critical. Others smile to your face while harboring feelings they'd never admit out loud. This isn't paranoia. It's the reality of living in a world where not everyone has done the internal work to genuinely celebrate another person's wins. The transformation you're moving toward will trigger discomfort in those who've remained stuck, and whether they consciously intend it or not, that discomfort generates a frequency that seeks to pull you back down to their level. Having cloves working as silent sentinels in your space means these projections hit an invisible wall before they can penetrate your field and create the doubt, exhaustion, or unexplained setbacks that so many people experience right when they're on the verge of a breakthrough. Write, "I am protected and prosperous," in the comments, if you're ready, to establish this kind of energetic boundary in your own life. Now let me explain something that might shift your entire perspective on why prosperity has felt so elusive despite your best efforts. Every negative word spoken about you, every jealous thought directed your way, every moment of silent resentment from someone who wishes they had what you have. These aren't just abstract emotional experiences floating harmlessly through the ether. They're actual energetic frequencies that create interference patterns in the channels through which abundance naturally flows toward you. It's like trying to pour water through a pipe that's full of debris and blockages. The water wants to flow, it's trying to reach you, but the pathway is obstructed. Most people go through life completely unaware that these invisible blockages even exist, which is why they can't figure out why their manifestation efforts seem to hit walls they can't see. They're doing affirmations, they're visualizing, they're taking action. But there's this constant drag on their progress that makes everything feel 10 times harder than it should be. What they don't realize is that someone's words, spoken in a moment of frustration or envy, carry an energetic charge that can literally create resistance in your field for days or even weeks afterward. This is where the protective aspect of working with cloves becomes absolutely invaluable. Once properly activated and placed, they establish an automatic, filtering system that operates around the clock without any additional input from you. You're not sitting there all day trying to manually block negativity or consciously deflect other people's projections. The cloves are doing that work in the background, constantly, tirelessly, like an immune system for your energetic body. They're sorting through the countless frequencies bombarding your space every moment, allowing only what serves your highest good to pass through, while automatically rejecting everything else. The beauty of this arrangement is in its simplicity and sustainability. You set it up once with clear intention, and then it runs on autopilot, maintaining that protective barrier and prosperity attraction simultaneously. It's the difference between having to manually sort through your email versus having a filter that automatically catches spam and only lets important messages through to your inbox. One requires constant vigilance and exhausts you. The other handles itself efficiently while you focus on actually living your life and building the abundance you desire. This kind of energetic infrastructure working silently in your favor creates space for miracles to occur, for synchronicities to line up, for opportunities that were always meant for you to finally reach you unobstructed. The transformation isn't always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's just the quiet dissolution of resistance, the gentle opening of pathways that were previously blocked, allowing your natural state of prosperity to emerge. Drop My channels are clearing now in the comments if you can feel this truth resonating with your current journey. Here's something I need you to understand at a cellular level, because this is where so many people unknowingly sabotage their own breakthrough. You could have the finest organic cloves from the most reputable source, placed in every energetically strategic location throughout your entire home, activated with perfect precision, and still see absolutely zero results if your internal world is broadcasting a completely different signal. If your dominant vibration is fear, if your habitual thoughts revolve around not having enough, not being enough, worrying about bills, stressing about future scarcity, then you're essentially trying to tune into an abundance station while your internal radio is locked onto the frequency of lack. The universe doesn't respond to what you want or wish for. It responds to what you are, to the consistent, energetic signature you're emitting moment by moment throughout your day. When there's a mismatch between your external rituals and your internal reality, the internal reality wins every single time. This is why you'll see some people perform elaborate ceremonies with every detail perfect and get nowhere, while others do something incredibly simple and experience radical shifts. The difference isn't in the ritual itself, it's in the consciousness behind it, the unshakable knowing that what they're claiming is already theirs. This brings us to one of the most underestimated tools available to every single person watching this right now, the power of your spoken word. When you stand in your space and declare out loud, "I attract money and abundance right now," something profound is happening that goes far beyond positive thinking or wishful affirmation. You're not just saying nice words to make yourself feel better temporarily. You're issuing a command into the quantum field, that invisible matrix of infinite possibilities that surrounds and interpenetrates everything you see. Your voice carries creative authority when it's aligned with conviction and intention. You're literally speaking your reality into existence, claiming what already belongs to you by divine right. This isn't metaphor or spiritual poetry. Every ancient wisdom tradition understood that sound creates form, that words spoken with power and belief become things in the material world. Modern science is finally catching up to what mystics have known forever, that observation and intention at the quantum level influence outcomes, that consciousness isn't separate from matter, but actively participates in shaping it. When you speak your prosperity into being, you're not asking permission from some external force. You're recognizing your role as a conscious creator and exercising the authority that comes with that recognition. The doubt has to go. The tentative, "I hope this works" energy has to be replaced with absolute certainty. Put, "I speak my abundance" into existence if you're ready to use your voice as the creative instrument it was always meant to be. The shift I'm about to describe is subtle, but absolutely game-changing, and most people miss it entirely because they've been conditioned to approach manifestation from a place of lack. They say their affirmations while simultaneously feeling the absence of what they're affirming. They visualize abundance while their body is tight with the stress of not having it yet. They're essentially standing in scarcity while reaching toward prosperity, and that energetic contradiction cancels out their efforts before those efforts even have a chance to gain momentum. The real secret that separates those who manifest consistently from those who struggle endlessly is this: you have to feel it now, not as something coming in the future, but as your present, lived reality. This isn't about pretending or faking it until you make it. This is about genuinely inhabiting the internal state of someone who already has everything they need, who already lives surrounded by abundance, who already knows on a deep, visceral level that they're financially secure and prosperous. When you can access that feeling state authentically, even for just a few minutes while you're working with your cloves and setting your intentions, you're doing something profoundly powerful. You're bridging the gap between where you are and where you want to be by collapsing time itself. In the quantum field, past, present, and future exist simultaneously. The version of you that's already wealthy, already successful, already living in overflow, that version exists right now in potential form. When you embody that frequency in this present moment, You're essentially reaching across dimensions and pulling that reality toward you, or more accurately, shifting yourself into alignment with it. This is what's known as the law of correspondence, one of the fundamental principles governing how energy becomes matter, how thoughts become things, how internal states manifest as external circumstances. When you truly make that internal shift, when your body and mind align with the frequency of already having rather than desperately wanting, the universe has absolutely no choice but to reorganize the physical world around you to match your new vibration. It's not magic in the supernatural sense. It's law, as consistent and reliable as gravity. Your external reality is always, without exception, a perfect mirror of your predominant internal state. Change the inside, and the outside must follow. This is why two people in identical circumstances can have completely different outcomes. One person sees lack and creates more lack. The other sees opportunity even in challenge and creates breakthrough after breakthrough. Type, "I already am abundant," if you're willing to make this crucial mindset shift right now, because everything that follows depends on your ability to embody this truth. Before you even touch a single clove, before you decide where to place anything, there's a preparation step that most people completely skip, and it's the reason their rituals feel empty and produce no tangible change. The energy signature you're carrying in the moment you perform any spiritual practice becomes encoded directly into that practice. It's like recording a song. Whatever emotion, whatever state of consciousness the artist is in while they're recording, that gets captured in the final track. You can hear desperation in certain songs, you can feel joy in others, and you can sense when something was created from a place of authentic power versus manufactured performance. The same principle applies here. If you approach this ritual with fear, vibrating through your nervous system, constantly worried that it won't work, anxiously hoping for results because you're desperate, then fear is exactly what gets programmed into every element you touch. Those cloves absorb that frequency. That intention you speak gets colored by that underlying doubt. And then you wonder why nothing shifts, why the money doesn't come, why opportunities continue to elude you. It's because you planted seeds of uncertainty and fed them with the water of desperation, and those ingredients can only produce more of the same. When you operate from scarcity consciousness while trying to manifest abundance, you're working against yourself at a key fundamental level. It's like trying to drive forward with one foot on the gas and the other on the brake. You might move eventually, but it's going to be exhausting, inefficient, and frustrating. The transformation you're seeking requires you to step into a completely different way of being before you take any external action. This isn't about what you do. It's about who you are when you're doing it, what state of consciousness you're embodying, what quality of presence you bring to the moment. Most people have this backwards. They think the ritual is what creates the change, so they focus all their attention on getting the steps right while ignoring the internal landscape from which those steps are being taken. But the truth that changes everything once you really grasp it is this. The ritual is just a container, a structure, a focusing mechanism. The real power comes from the consciousness you pour into that container. An empty ritual performed with perfect technique produces nothing. A simple gesture performed from a place of absolute conviction and inner alignment can move mountains and shift realities in ways that defy logical explanation. This is why preparation of your internal state isn't optional or secondary. It's actually the foundation of everything else. Right, I prepare my consciousness first. If you understand that your inner state is the real source of power in any manifestation practice. So how do you actually prepare yourself before beginning this work? It starts with something so simple that most people dismiss it as too basic to matter. Yet it's one of the most powerful tools you have for shifting your state instantly. Your breath. Right now, as you're watching this, I want you to take a deep, full breath. Draw air all the way down into the bottom of your lungs, filling your entire chest cavity, and then release it slowly through your mouth, letting it carry away whatever tension you've been holding without even realizing it. Notice, what happens in your body when you do this consciously. Your shoulders, which have probably been hunched up toward your ears from stress, start to drop and relax. Your jaw, which you might have been clenching unconsciously, begins to soften and release. That mental chatter that's been running non-stop in the background of your awareness starts to quiet down, creating space for something new to emerge. This isn't just relaxation for the sake of feeling good, although that's a nice side effect. You're actively shifting your nervous system out of fight-or-flight mode and into a receptive state where you can actually access higher frequencies and clearer intention. When your body is tight with stress and your mind is racing with worry, you're operating from survival consciousness, and survival consciousness cannot create abundance. It can only create more scenarios that justify staying in survival mode. By taking even just 60 seconds to breathe deeply and consciously before you begin, working with your cloves, you're creating an opening, a doorway between your ordinary worried state and the elevated state where true manifestation becomes possible. Beyond your internal preparation, there's also something important about preparing the physical environment where you'll be doing this work. You don't need to turn your home into some elaborate temple with expensive decorations, but you do want to create an atmosphere that signals to your subconscious mind that something sacred is happening, that you're stepping out of mundane everyday consciousness and into a space of intentional creation. Simple gestures make all the difference here. Open a window and let fresh air circulate through the room, clearing out stagnant energy and bringing in new vitality. Put on some soft instrumental music that helps your mind settle into a calmer rhythm. Light a candle or some incense if you have it, engaging your senses in a way that says, "This moment is special. This moment matters." These aren't superstitious requirements. They're practical tools for shifting your consciousness from the chaos of daily life into a centered, focused state where your words and actions carry real weight and power. Drop "My space is sacred" in the comments if you're committed to creating this kind of intentional environment for your prosperity work. There's a paradox at the heart of manifestation work that trips up almost everyone when they're first learning these principles. We're taught in every other area of life that results come from effort, from pushing, from forcing things to happen through sheer determination and willpower. So naturally, when people want to manifest abundance, they approach it with that same tense, effortful energy. They grip their intentions tightly. They stress about whether they're doing it right. They anxiously monitor for results. And in doing so, they create the exact energetic blockage that prevents what they want from flowing to them. Real magic, the I, kind that produces tangible shifts in your physical reality, doesn't happen from that place of desperation and forcing. It emerges from a state of peaceful allowance, from relaxing into trust rather than tensing into control. When you can genuinely let go and allow the universe to work through you instead of constantly trying to manipulate outcomes through mental effort alone, that's when synchronicities start appearing, when doors open that you didn't even know existed, when money shows up from unexpected sources. The transformation happens in the surrender, not in the struggle. This is why the preparation we just discussed is so critical. You're training yourself to access that peaceful, centered state where manifestation can actually occur. And from that grounded place, you're now ready to perform the first ritual, which is so beautifully discreet that no one around you will have the slightest idea what you're really doing. To anyone observing, it looks completely ordinary, maybe even boring. You're just placing some kitchen spices near a plant. Nothing dramatic, nothing that would raise questions or invite skepticism from family members who might not understand this work. But the impact this simple act will have on your energetic field and your capacity to attract financial abundance is nothing short of extraordinary. This is what I love about working with natural elements and ancient wisdom. The most powerful practices are often the most subtle. They don't announce themselves with fanfare. They work quietly in the background, shifting frequencies, opening pathways, removing obstacles you didn't even know were there. Within days of doing this correctly, you'll start noticing small changes. Within weeks, those changes compound into something undeniable. You're going to need exactly 3 cloves for this, And the reason for that specific number carries significance that goes beyond arbitrary tradition. 3 represents the divine trinity of creation found in virtually every spiritual system throughout human history: mind, body, spirit, thought, word, action, the beginning, middle, and end. When you work with 3 of anything in ritual practice, you're tapping into a universal pattern of manifestation that's woven into the fabric of reality itself. Put, 3 is my sacred number. If you're feeling the resonance of this ancient wisdom awakening something within you right now, each of those 3 cloves you're about to work with isn't just a random piece of organic matter. Each one becomes a carrier, a vessel for one aspect of the creative process that brings anything from the realm of possibility into physical manifestation. The first clove holds the energy of thought, that initial spark of desire, the vision of abundance that you're cultivating in your mind's eye. The second carries the vibration of your spoken word, the declarations you make, the intentions you voice that send ripples through the quantum field. And the third embodies action, the physical gesture of placing these elements in strategic locations, demonstrating your commitment to this transformation through tangible steps in the material world. When these 3 forces align and work in harmony, when thought, word, and action are all pointing in the same direction with the same unwavering intention, you create an unstoppable momentum toward your desired outcome. This is the hidden architecture behind all successful manifestation. Most people have powerful thoughts but never speak them aloud, or they speak affirmations but never take corresponding action, or they take action without the internal clarity and conviction that gives that action power. The Trinity of 3 brings all these elements together into a unified whole. Now here's where things get really interesting, because you're going to place these 3 activated cloves in a specific plant that most people have somewhere in their home right now, completely unaware of the extraordinary, protective, and prosperity-attracting qualities it possesses. I'm talking about the snake plant, also known as Sansevieria, or in some cultures, the rather unflattering name mother-in-law's tongue because of its sharp, pointed leaves. You've probably walked past this plant 1,000 times in stores, in office buildings, maybe even in your own living space, never suspecting that what appears to be just another low-maintenance houseplant is actually one of nature's most formidable energetic guardians. This isn't some rare exotic species you need to hunt down from specialty nurseries. It's incredibly common, inexpensive, nearly impossible to kill, which is why it's so popular. Yet hidden within those thick, upright leaves is a living intelligence that ancient practitioners recognized and worked with for protection and prosperity long before modern decorating trends made it fashionable. The snake plant functions on multiple levels simultaneously. It purifies the air in your physical environment while simultaneously filtering and transmuting dense energies in your subtle environment. Those pointed leaves aren't just aesthetically interesting. They act as antennae that detect incoming frequencies and redirect anything heavy or harmful away from your space. Write, "My guardian plant awaits" in the comments if you already have a snake plant or you're feeling called to bring one into your home after learning its true purpose. What makes this approach so accessible and practical is that you're not working with some impossible-to-find ingredient that requires special ordering or traveling to distant locations. The snake plant is sitting in garden centers and home improvement stores everywhere, usually priced affordably because it's considered such a basic, beginner-friendly option. And yet, beneath that humble exterior is a living ally that operates as both shield and magnet simultaneously. While it's blocking and neutralizing the heavy, draining energies that people unconsciously project toward you, it's also actively drawing in opportunities, financial flows, and beneficial connections. It's doing double duty constantly, without you having to think about it or maintain it beyond basic watering every few weeks. Now imagine what happens when you combine this already powerful plant with the elevated vibrational frequency of 3 activated cloves placed intentionally in its soil. You're essentially creating a living power station right inside your home. AIs. Generator of prosperity consciousness that runs continuously in the background of your life. This isn't something you need to recharge every day with complicated rituals or constant attention. Once you set it up correctly with clear intention, it operates autonomously, working for you while you sleep, while you're at work, while you're completely focused on other aspects of your life. It becomes part of your environmental infrastructure, quietly influencing the quality and frequency of everything flowing toward you. Think about the impact this kind of passive system can have over time. Every person who walks through your door is passing by this energetic checkpoint. Every opportunity trying to reach you has to move through this field you've established. Every bit of negativity attempting to attach itself to your space encounters this barrier first. And the beautiful thing is that this filtering and attracting happens automatically, intelligently, without requiring your conscious participation in each moment. You've essentially installed an upgrade to your living space that continuously elevates the energetic baseline of your entire environment. The transformation that becomes possible when you're operating from this kind of supported, protected, amplified field is significant. Decisions become clearer because you're not constantly processing and deflecting other people's projections. Your natural magnetism for abundance has room to express itself fully because the interference has been filtered out. The journey toward your financial goals becomes smoother, not because the path has changed, but because you've removed the invisible obstacles that were making every step unnecessarily difficult. This is what working smarter rather than harder actually looks like in the realm of energy and manifestation. Type, "My power station is activating," if you can feel the potential of what we're building together here. Now, we get to the moment where intention becomes action, where everything we've discussed transforms from concept into tangible reality. Take your first clove and hold it between your fingers for just a moment. Feel its texture, notice its weight, let its aroma register in your awareness. This isn't just a kitchen spice anymore. In this moment, with your consciousness focused and your intention clear, this small object is becoming a carrier of specific energetic programming. You're about to turn it into a magnetic attraction point for luck, for synchronicity, for those seemingly random events that aren't random at all, but rather the universe conspiring in your favor. Make a small hole in the soil of your snake plant, just deep enough to completely cover the clove. As you place this first one into the earth, you're going to speak a declaration. And I need you to understand the difference between mechanically repeating words versus issuing a decree from a place of genuine authority. When you say, "This clove attracts luck to my life," you're not hoping, you're not wishing, you're not asking permission. You're stating a fact, establishing a new reality, claiming something that already belongs to you. Your voice should carry conviction, certainty, the kind of unshakable knowing that leaves no room for doubt or hesitation. Feel those words in your chest as you speak them. Let them resonate through your entire body before you cover that clove with soil, sealing your intention into the physical plane. That first clove is now working, already beginning to shift the probability field around you, opening pathways for fortunate occurrences, happy accidents, being in the right place at the right time. But luck alone isn't enough if you're simultaneously under energetic attack from forces you don't even perceive consciously. This is where the second clove becomes absolutely essential, because its job is completely different. Where the first attracts, the second protects. Where the first opens, the second filters and guards. Take your second clove and prepare another space in the soil. This one you're planting as a sentinel, a warrior standing watch over your energetic boundaries. As you place it, declare with firm, unwavering conviction, "This clove protects me from all negative energy and envy." The words themselves carry power, but your belief in those words is what activates that power fully. You're establishing an invisible force field that surrounds your entire living space, a shield that automatically identifies and neutralizes anything coming toward you with ill intent, whether that's conscious malice or unconscious jealousy. People won't understand why they suddenly feel uncomfortable directing negativity your way. They just will. The energy simply won't land anymore because you've installed a defense system that operates independently of your awareness. Right? I am protected and fortunate if you're ready to claim both luck and protection as your natural state of being from this moment forward. Now comes the third and final clove, the one that completes this sacred triangle of intention and seals everything you've set in motion. This is where you call in the direct manifestation of financial abundance itself, where you stop dancing around the subject and claim what you truly desire with absolute clarity. Take this third clove in your hand and really feel the weight of what you're about to do. You're not just placing an object in soil, you're making a declaration to the universe about your worthiness, your readiness, your divine right to receive wealth in forms that exceed your current circumstances. Create the final space in your plant's soil, and as you nestle this clove into place, speak with every ounce of faith you can summon from the depths of your being. This clove attracts abundant money to my home. When you say the word abundant, I want you to really let your mind expand around what that means for you specifically. Don't play small here. Don't limit yourself to thinking about just enough to cover next month's bills. Vision truly abundant money, the kind of financial flow that allows you to breathe easy, make generous decisions, invest in your dreams, support the people you love, and still have plenty left over. The universe doesn't operate in scarcity. That's a human invention born from fear. Allow yourself to imagine wealth without apologizing for wanting it, without that guilty voice saying you should be satisfied with less. With all 3 cloves now planted and programmed, your snake plant has transformed into something far more powerful than it was before. But there's one final critical element that determines whether this setup works at maximum capacity or operates at only a fraction of its potential: location. You cannot simply leave this plant wherever it's currently sitting if that spot doesn't align with the energetic architecture of your space. This activated plant needs to be positioned at the threshold of your home, near your main entrance, because that doorway isn't just a physical structure. It's the primary portal through which absolutely everything enters your reality. Think about the flow of your life for a moment. Every opportunity that arrives, every person who influences you, every bit of abundance trying to reach you, all of it must pass through that entrance point. That's where the external world meets your internal sanctuary, where the chaotic energy of everything outside encounters the intentional frequency you're cultivating inside. By placing your guardian plant at this critical junction, you're establishing a conscious checkpoint that filters everything in real time, allowing prosperity to pour through while automatically deflecting what would drain or diminish you. Put, "My threshold is transformed" in the comments if you understand that your entrance has just become a sacred gateway rather than just another door. Understanding your entrance as an energy filter changes everything about how you perceive the space you live in. Most people think of their front door as nothing more than a barrier between inside and outside, a physical boundary that keeps weather and strangers out while allowing friends and family in. But energetically, it's so much more than that. It's the singular access point through which the entire external world interfaces with your personal field. Every visitor who crosses that threshold brings their emotional state with them, their vibrations, their projections, their conscious and unconscious intentions. Every opportunity looking for you has to find its way through that doorway. And yes, every dense or draining energy seeking a place to attach itself must also attempt entry through that same portal. When you position your activated snake plant with its 3 programmed cloves at this strategic location, you're not just decorating. You're installing intelligent infrastructure that operates like a sophisticated sorting system. It's identifying what serves your highest good and what doesn't, what aligns with your prosperity intentions and what would sabotage them, who carries genuine goodwill toward you and who harbors hidden resentment. All of this filtering happens automatically beneath conscious awareness, creating an environment where your natural abundance can flourish without constant interference from forces you can't even see. Now here's something that makes this even more powerful. If you happen to run any kind of business, whether that's a physical storefront, an office space, a studio, or anywhere else you conduct professional activities, everything I've just described about your home applies equally to your business location, except the impact tends to be even more immediate and visible because commercial spaces operate with constant energetic transactions happening throughout the day. You're interacting with clients, customers, colleagues, vendors, each exchange carrying its own frequency and leaving its own imprint on your space. When you set up this same configuration at your business entrance, you begin attracting the ideal clients and customers, the ones who appreciate what you offer, who pay without endless negotiation, who return again and again and bring others with them. Meanwhile, you're simultaneously repelling the energy vampires, the people who drain your time without reciprocating value, the ones who bring chaos and complaint without ever being satisfied. Your business space becomes a magnet for genuine opportunity while naturally filtering out what would waste your resources. The shift doesn't happen overnight, but within weeks you'll notice the quality of interactions improving, the ease of transactions increasing, the overall atmosphere feeling lighter and more conducive to success. Right? Abundance flows to my door. If you're recognizing that whether home or business, your entrance is the key to controlling what enters your energetic reality. What starts happening in a business context when you implement this practice correctly is almost uncanny in how specific it becomes. You're not suddenly getting flooded with random foot traffic or inquiry calls from people who aren't really serious. Instead, you notice a distinct shift in the quality of who's showing up. The people walking through your door or reaching out to you arrive with a different energy entirely. They're already predisposed towards saying yes. They've already decided on some level that they want what you're offering. They're not there to waste your time with endless questions and comparisons. They buy, they appreciate the value, they come back, and perhaps most importantly, they become natural advocates who recommend you to others without you even asking. This isn't coincidence or lucky timing. It's the direct result of your space operating at a frequency that resonates with abundance-minded individuals while simultaneously repelling those operating from scarcity consciousness. Attracts on every level of reality, and when your business environment is literally broadcasting prosperity signals through your activated plant system, you magnetize people who match that frequency. The transformation in your client base, in your revenue, in the overall ease of doing business can be profound, all from something so simple that most people would never suspect it's happening. But the snake plant ritual is just the beginning of what's possible when you understand how to work with cloves for financial manifestation. There's a second practice I need to share with you, one that works more directly with the money you already have, amplifying it, protecting it, and using it as a seed that attracts more of itself. This is for those moments when you need to see tangible results in your bank account, when you're ready to take your current financial reality and multiply it beyond what seems reasonable or logical. For this second approach, you're going to take 3 more cloves and place them directly in whatever container you use to store physical money. Maybe you have a shoebox tucked in your closet where you keep emergency cash. Maybe there's a decorative wooden box on your dresser, a cookie tin in your kitchen drawer, or even just a simple envelope in a safe place. The specific container is irrelevant. What matters is that it's the designated space where you consciously keep money with the intention of it staying there and growing rather than being immediately spent. The principle behind this practice taps into something ancient wisdom keepers understood intimately. Money is energy, and energy responds to intention and attention. When you place activated cloves in direct contact with your cash, you're creating a multiplication effect. Type, "My money multiplies now," if you're ready to transform your savings into an active prosperity generator, rather than just a static amount sitting idle. Before you start worrying about whether you have enough money in your savings to make this work, let me stop that thought right now, because it's coming from exactly the kind of scarcity thinking that blocks abundance in the first place. The amount currently in your money container is completely, entirely, absolutely irrelevant to the energetic purpose of this ritual. It could be $20, it could be $500, it could be nothing but a handful of loose change you've been collecting. The numerical value doesn't matter even slightly, and here's why. We're not working with the money itself as the source of power. We're working with the energetic principle that money represents, with the frequency it carries, with its potential to attract more of itself. This is a fundamental shift in perception that separates people who manifest wealth consistently from those who struggle perpetually. The struggling person looks at their small amount of savings and feels shame, inadequacy, a sense of, this isn't enough to even bother with. The abundant person looks at that same amount and sees a seed, recognizes potential, understands that every massive fortune in human history started as something small that was honored, protected, and allowed to grow. Your mindset toward what you already have determines whether it multiplies or stagnates. When you can genuinely appreciate and activate the money you currently possess, regardless of the amount, you're sending a signal that you're ready for more. So you take your 3 cloves and place them right there in your money container in direct physical contact with whatever cash you've stored. What happens in this moment on the subtle frequency planes is genuinely fascinating. You're establishing a magnetic field around that money, and this field is constantly broadcasting a very specific message into the quantum realm where all possibilities exist. That message says, this money is alive, this money is generative, this money attracts more money to itself. This money is a seed that's already sprouting roots and preparing to multiply exponentially. You're shifting the essential nature of that cash from static object to dynamic force. Think about how compound interest works in traditional banking, where your money generates returns that themselves generate further returns, creating exponential growth over time. This is similar, but operating on an energetic rather than mathematical level. Your activated money becomes a magnet that draws opportunities, unexpected income, forgotten debts repaid, surprise bonuses, all manner of financial inflows that your logical mind could never have orchestrated. The universe is responding to the frequency you've encoded into your savings through this simple but intentional act. Write, I honor what I have, if you're willing to shift from judging your current amount to appreciating it as the foundation of greater wealth to come. There's one more element that transforms this money box ritual from something merely mechanical into something genuinely transformative. And it's perhaps the most important ingredient of all, even though it costs nothing and requires no special materials. I'm talking about gratitude, real gratitude. Not the perfunctory thank you say out of politeness, but the deep, felt appreciation that wells up from your heart when you truly recognize a gift. As you place those 3 cloves among your cash, you need to access genuine thankfulness for whatever amount is sitting there. Right now, and this might be the hardest part of the entire practice because we're so conditioned to focus on what we lack rather than what we possess. The human mind naturally gravitates toward the negative, toward what's missing, toward the gap between current reality and desired outcome. You look at your modest savings and immediately think about all the bills you still need to pay, all the things you wish you could afford but can't, all the ways this amount falls short of where you want to be financially. That vibration of dissatisfaction and lack is precisely what keeps you stuck in scarcity. But when you can genuinely shift into appreciation for what already exists, when you can feel authentic gratitude for those few bills or coins as if they were a treasure, something alchemical happens in your energy field. You're no longer broadcasting, I don't have enough, which attracts more situations of not having enough. Instead, you're radiating, I'm grateful for this abundance, which attracts more reasons to feel grateful, more abundance to appreciate. Gratitude isn't just a nice spiritual concept. It's a frequency, a specific vibration that the universe responds to by delivering more experiences that match it. When you can master the art of being genuinely thankful for what you currently have while simultaneously holding vision for greater prosperity, you create a magnetic pull that's almost irresistible. Now let me introduce you to a third approach that takes everything we've done so far and makes it portable, something you can carry with you wherever you go, turning yourself into a walking magnet for financial opportunity. This involves creating a personal talisman, a small fabric pouch that becomes an extension of your prosperity practice, working on your behalf whether you're at home, at work, running errands, or attending important meetings where deals get made and connections happen. You choose a pouch in a color that resonates with your specific intention. Red if you need passionate energy and courage to pursue opportunities, green for direct money magnetism, gold for wealth and luxury consciousness, or blue for protection and peace while you're building abundance. Drop "I carry prosperity with me" in the comments if the idea of having a portable abundance generator that goes everywhere you go excites something in you. Inside this portable talisman pouch, you're going to place actual currency, real money that's currently in circulation. And here's something absolutely critical that you need to understand and commit to before you even create this talisman. That money, once it goes into your pouch and becomes activated as part of your prosperity tool, can never be spent. Not when bills are due, not during an emergency, not even if you find yourself in what feels like a desperate situation. The moment you break that seal and spend your talisman money, you're not just removing a bill from a fabric bag. You're dismantling the entire energetic circuit you've established, sending a powerful signal to the universe that says you don't actually trust the abundance process, that you're still operating from scarcity consciousness beneath all your spiritual practices. This money has undergone a transformation in purpose. It's no longer functioning as a medium of exchange for goods and services. It's become something far more valuable, the seed of your abundance, the physical anchor point that maintains your active attraction. Circuit. Think of it like the starter culture you'd use to make yogurt or sourdough bread. You don't consume the starter itself because that's what allows you to create unlimited batches going forward. Your talisman money operates on the same principle. It's the generative source, not the product. Keeping it intact and sacred demonstrates faith, commitment, and understanding that there's always more money available, that you're never so desperate that you need to cannibalize your own prosperity. Infrastructure. Now I want to introduce you to a fourth method that operates in yet another dimension of this work, and this one combines the element of water with your cloves to create what I can only describe as a living abundance altar that continuously cleanses and attracts simultaneously. You'll need a completely transparent glass, nothing colored or decorated, just pure, clear glass that allows energy to flow through without distortion. Fill this glass with fresh, clean water, and then place 3 cloves into it, one at a time, each accompanied by a specific spoken intention that programs the water itself to carry your prosperity frequency. Water has this remarkable property of holding information, of absorbing and retaining the energetic imprint of whatever it's exposed to, which is why ancient cultures always blessed water before drinking it, and why prayers over water have been part of spiritual practice across every tradition. When you combine water's receptive nature with the elevated frequency of cloves and the creative power of your spoken word, you're creating a broadcasting station that operates continuously in your space. This glass gets placed next to some figure or image that represents abundance to you, positioned near your entrance where it can influence everything flowing toward your life. Right? Water carries my intention if you're beginning to see how many different angles you can work this prosperity practice from, each one amplifying the others. And there you have it. 4 distinct approaches to working with something as simple as cloves to completely transform your relationship with money and abundance. What started as a conversation about a kitchen spice has revealed itself to be a doorway into understanding how energy, intention, and the physical world interact in ways most people never explore. If you've stayed with me through this entire journey, that tells me something important about you. You're not someone who's looking for quick fixes or surface-level solutions. You're someone willing to go deeper, to understand the principles behind the practices, to actually apply what resonates rather than just consuming information passively. If this video brought you value, if something clicked for you during our time together, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. I create content like this regularly, diving into ancient wisdom, practical manifestation techniques, and the hidden mechanics of how prosperity actually works in the real world. You being here, being part of this community, matters more than you might realize. Drop a comment saying, "This message found me at the perfect time, so I know you made it all the way through." That helps me understand what's landing with people and what direction to take future content. And go ahead and give this video a like if it resonated. That simple gesture helps this information reach others who are searching for exactly what we've discussed today, people who are ready for this shift but haven't found the right guidance yet. Before you go, there's another video right here that takes what we've covered even deeper. It explores how to maintain and amplify your abundance once it starts flowing. Because attracting prosperity is one thing, but keeping it and growing it requires its own understanding. Click on that and continue this journey with me. I'll see you there.